I'm Robert Clementi. I'm here with Jennifer Dixon from Moores, who's going to be discussing the subject of vulnerable beneficiaries and vulnerable family members using trusts. Jennifer's with me to discuss some of the issues. And Jennifer, welcome. Can I ask you this question? What are some of the considerations that should be taken into account when planning for vulnerable beneficiaries?
Sure, Rob. Thanks for having me. Vulnerable beneficiaries create their own set of complex issues and questions for family members looking to plan for what happens after they pass away. There tends to be some common themes that we see that really concern clients in this space. Often one of the key concerns and considerations is how is any inheritance or any structuring going to impact on the pension eligibility of the vulnerable beneficiary. Often you'll find they're looking to maintain eligibility for either the disability support pension or some other form of government assistance. And part of the complexity here is that there is only really one form of structure, being a special disability trust, which can give you effectively guaranteed exemption from means testing for Centrelink purposes. So in the webinar, we talk through the requirements and how those trusts work, but that's one certainly key issue. Another really big issue for clients is who's actually going to end up controlling the wealth. Often the whole part of the reason for the conversation is that the intended beneficiary is not in a position where they can handle that control on their own. And then the decision needs to be made about who's most appropriate, whether that's related people and family members, which can be seen as a cost-effective solution, but can also then create issues of conflict as between the family members. Alternatively, you're looking at independent controllers, whether that's professional advisors or trustee companies, and again, that has pros and cons, the obvious cost being the potential cost. And so again, that's another topic that we often need to talk through in a fair bit of detail and look at different options about how that can be balanced. And then there's also sometimes the potentially obvious solution is we'll leave the vulnerable person out so they keep their pension. That then can create issues of potential challenge risk, either by the vulnerable beneficiary themselves, siblings if they're on the flip side of that question. And so another really important part of the discussion and advice that needs to be provided is how is the structuring that's being put in place going to affect that potential for risk of challenge to the will. So that's a pretty broad overview of some of the important things we see clients raising, and will be covered in the webinar. There's some tax and other issues too, but that's the starting point.
And that is very interesting, and thank you for that insight. And thank you for listening. And if there's more information you'd like in relation to the webinar, you can find it on our website. It's Protecting Vulnerable Beneficiaries Through Trusts. Once again, thank you for listening.